Hi, I'm Dr. Allen at Jones Adams Hospital. Welcome to Vet Visits. Today I'm going to kind of lump together several things that are very different but can look very similar, just to kind of help to sensitize people that there are more than one potential cause for something that may look exactly the same, some of which are no big deal and some of which are a very big deal and require immediate attention if you're going to hopefully prevent an animal from becoming permanently paralyzed or disabled. And what I'm going to talk about is what's the difference between an animal that's ataxic, just kind of weak and wobbling and staggering about, with an animal that's lame, like has an orthopedic problem, a torn ACL, a broken bone, sometimes something as simple as a torn toenail. An animal that's having neurological deficits, that's maybe circling or staggering or dragging a foot or limb, or an animal that's acting disoriented, like they've got inner ear problems or dementia. And those can all look very, very similar when you look at them. So let's start with an animal that's ataxic, that's kind of weak and wobbling, kind of weaving as it walks. No history of trauma, nothing like that. So what are the things that we're going to think about? Well, if it's a small young puppy, you worry about low blood sugar. Believe it or not, you see hypoglycemia in small puppies, especially little toy breed puppies, kind of our poster pet for that, or little Yorkshire Terrier puppies. They come in and they're staggering and weak, fainting, that kind of thing. They can't walk across the room. Well, a good percentage of the time they have low blood sugar. So if you have a little puppy that's weak and wobbling, the first thing you do is pull out the bottle of Karo syrup or some honey and put a few drops on its tongue and see if it gets better. If it does, it's probably just low blood sugar. Well, that's easy. A little less easy is your diabetic pet. And yes, pets have diabetes. And diabetes is a disease that we treat with insulin, just like within people. Well, with a diabetic pet, your usual problem is the blood sugar is too high. But occasionally something will happen that the blood sugar winds up being too low. Well, those are weak and wobbly too, and they're weaving and kind of having trouble getting up. You may come in, they're just laid flat out. Well, same thing. Try giving them a little bit of Karo syrup or honey and bring them back up again, and skip your next insulin injection. Same sort of problem, but entirely different look. One's a tiny little puppy, one's an older dog or cat even that has diabetes. So that's just ataxia or wobbling. That can also be due, though, to brain disorders. You can see animals that have brain tumors. You can see an animal that has had a seizure fairly recently, and if you come in there where they've gotten over the seizure, where they're not actually actively seizing, but they're in the after effects of it, they may be weak and wobbling around. Brain tumors can do that. I think I already said that. There are some inflammatory problems in the brain that can cause them to be weak and wobbling. Also, occasionally you'll see inner ear problems. Dogs do get vestibular disease. Cats do too. And those will often have a head tilt. They'll be circling around and around in circles. That's an inner ear problem. Take those to your veterinarian and have those looked at. Other problems too, with weakness and wobbling, needs to have the veterinarian look at that. Say your animal is able to walk, but it's kind of weaving and wobbling in the back end, but you notice it's not placing its back feet properly. Instead of laying the foot down, pad down, it's kind of rolling the foot over and walking on the tops of its feet. Okay? That's a problem with the nerve function in the back end of the dog, and that's very often either a slipped disc, that's by far the most common thing, or a spinal cord tumor of some kind. Now that's a problem that requires immediate attention. So he's kind of weaving and wobbling, but he's knuckling over on the back feet or front feet, may or may not be acting painful. That's a true emergency, and that needs to be seen by a veterinarian as soon as you can get them down there. If it's during the day, go to your regular veterinarian. If it's during the night, you go to the local emergency clinic. That's one of the very few things that if I see in my practice, I can call down to UT or up to Blacksburg at Virginia Tech and say, hey, I've got a dog that's knuckling and going down the back end. I'm afraid it's got a slipped disc. When can you see it? And the first thing they ask is, how long will it take them to get here? And that's one of the few things to get everybody going in a hurry, because we all know that if they have a slipped disc, if they're losing feeling in the back legs, the sooner they get to surgery, the better the chances are that that animal can recover and have a normal gait. The longer it goes, the worse the chances are, and you have potential for a pet that winds up permanently paralyzed in the back end. So weaving and wobbling just like the others were, but now they're kind of knuckling over in the foot. That means you have neurological problems. They need to be seen right away. Orthopedic problems. We see dogs in here all the time that they've been romping and rambling in the yard, and all of a sudden they're carrying a back leg. Well, a good percentage of the time they've torn an ACL. And just like us, you tear an ACL, sometimes you can rest it, but very often they need surgery. Dogs step in holes. Dogs jump down off of things. Dogs, unfortunately, get hit by cars. And sometimes they wind up with broken bones. That will sure cause them to be lame and usually have a lot of swelling and pain. That's the sort of thing that needs to be seen right away, too. Things along those lines, the sooner they're addressed, the better your chances of having a good outcome and the animal regaining normal function in the leg. And I keep saying dogs, but all these things can happen in cats as well. Cats just seem to have better balance and have fewer orthopedic problems than dogs do. But they can have all the same sorts of things that our dog pets do. So many things can look similar. Usually you need to have your veterinarian take a good look at it to kind of weed through what's going on here. Is it something as simple as low blood sugar? Is it a pet that's had a seizure and now it's acting funny because of that? Is it a neurological problem like a slipped disc or a spinal cord tumor? Is it an orthopedic problem like a torn ACL, a broken bone, or something just very simple like a broken toenail? Sometimes I've seen animals that were incredibly lame and it was just a broken toenail. So animals that aren't moving right can be a variety of problems. It's best to have your veterinarian sort it out and have a good plan to have appropriate therapy. It gives you and your pet the best chance for a good outcome. I'm Dr. Allen at Jones Animal Hospital. Thanks for joining us today on Vet Visits.